Yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone, and I hope everybody is doing well. And also, more importantly, our thoughts are with the people of Ukraine, and hopefully, God will continue to protect them and then bring the world leaders together to offer a quick solution so that more lives will not be lost in the conflict. Matt, good morning to you. How are you doing today? And welcome back to Blue Morning Show.
Yeah, big up, Coachila. Appreciate having me on once again. It's been a big day. I mean, obviously we had. I mean, for people who UK US, the game was last night. For you guys, for me, it was today. So I had to, watch the game and then go through the whole day of just kind of rehabbing that same game in my head over and over again. So it's a disappointing result, but we'll discuss it all in depth right now when we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
But
we will. We
yeah,
will. That's
it's
one of
just a
the
bit of a shame.
yeah, that's one of the items. The last item we will talk about. And hopefully, you still have time to stay by the time we
Yeah,
get to
I'll be
it.
fine.
And good morning to you, CFC Fahim. Always nice to see you. I know you're supposed to be in school. Please, if that's the case, concentrate. Your education should be your priority. I love you, brother, but I hope you understand. So, Matt, we'll start by the discussion that last week it was Roman's statement that clearly stated that he's handed the stewardship of Chelsea Football Club to
Mm.
what is it called, to the charity. How do they call it again?
The
Let
steward
me
or
find.
something.
Yeah, the stewardship of the club to the Chelsea trustees. Let me just put it that way. I think that term solves the papers, and it just seems as if they haven't even there were no agreement in place. It was just a statement. He hasn't agreed anything with them, and the rumors are that they have concerns. There are supposed to be some legal processes before the whole thing takes place. Probably that's the case, and there are also you know, ethical concerns. That's the way they phrased it. What do you think about the situation?
I mean, it's a very difficult situation to kind of compromise. We've got replies on Twitter and Instagram after Roman's message he said, and legit everyone was confused, and I was one of them. It was like it was a riddle and it was a poem. We had to figure it out. Like it was so hard to understand, and I'm still lost on what's going on with the Fundy program. Like obviously we had that happening about Saturday, and then the next thing was the game, and our focus was on the game. It wasn't really on the situation with Roman. So I'm still on the same point I was on Saturday, where I was just confused, and I'm still in the loop that I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, is he still part of the club? I assume so. He is, but he just doesn't make the minor decisions. Sorry, so he's got the people around him who are like the name, and he's just there in the shadow, just so he can save his assets and they don't get taken off because of obviously the sanctions that he's going to put down. That's what I assume is going on.
The same thing with me. I think it was, you could say, a genius move, like Stav did put it, a calculated move to take again. Also, one of the reasons will be to take away the attention from Chelsea because
Yep.
it just seems as if as the whole thing was going on, even the media, British media, Sky Sports especially, they were just linking Chelsea directly to the crisis, the Ukraine Russia crisis,
Mm.
not specifically saying who's responsible, not even naming the man responsible actually. So that's been concerning to me, and I don't think it should be like that. So if the case, no, let me say, if it is true that the trustees they have ethical concerns, I think it's the whole thing might end up just being even more complicated. If there's any way to like say okay they are complicit, then they might keep away from the whole process. But the trustees themselves did put out a statement saying that their thoughts are with the Ukrainian people, so that makes a huge difference. But
Mm.
what if they are reluctant to accept it because you can't just take over such things. Documents will be in place. You have to sign some documents. There has to be some legal processes to say, okay, this is how things are run now at Chelsea. So if that's the case and they're not willing to accept that responsibility, what do you think will happen, Matt?
If they're not ready to accept it, I don't think they have a choice. To be fair with you, I think Roman's kind of forced it upon them, and we're in that difficult situation where it's like, what does Roman do? Like, no one knows what Roman's main job is. Like, we don't know what when he wakes up, what he does. Like, we don't know what he does as a job. Like we know what he does.
Mm.
But behind the scene, what's he doing there? We're not sure. So, I personally think that this is like a screen. This trustee program is just the screen for the viewers to see. But behind the scenes, he's still working. He's still doing business as usual. This is just to kind of make sure the audience assume that he's not doing anything. So that's what I'm assuming is. But if they don't want to take over, I don't think they have a choice. I think they're going to be probably forced to do it. Like it's probably under their agreement when they join that if this situation happened, like if Roman had to put up his assets, that they'll be involved in the club more. And I think it will give them. I think they'll be happy to take up the job. Like it's giving them a high position and a high
Yeah,
responsibility.
again, here's how I'm looking at it. Probably they're all British citizens or so. I think if anybody is an outsider, they should be an American. So
Mm.
you can't. I don't think there's a possibility to force a responsibility on an individual, especially in a civilized country. At least let's say that, like the United Kingdom. So I don't think he can force it on them. If it tries to do that, then there's an issue. But the fact is, wouldn't you think, Matt, that probably there was some measure of that is agreement before that before he put that statement out, because he can't just come out and say it without speaking
Mm.
with them and then being reassured that okay, we're ready to do it for you.
Yeah, there would have been something, of course, like behind the scenes. He would have asked them to do it, and obviously they would have said yes. Like then he's just not gonna force it, and then 10 minutes later come out on social media. This was in the process as soon as probably the war kind of started. He definitely would have seen this coming. So there was agreements, there was documents, there was all this and that. So it's not informal. It's a very formal way of processing it. So it's all legit, and you make sure that he doesn't lose his assets. Because if he does this like informally, then that there's the risk of him losing his assets and being figured out by like the FIFA or something like that, or even worse, the government. So he has done it all legit. Um, um, Jeez, I can't speak. He's all done it all legit. So I don't see him like anything coming out saying that like Roman's gonna be sued, blah blah blah, this that. So I think it's all legit, but it's just confusing what they're doing, what this stewardship program is gonna do. Like, does this affect our transfer window? Does this affect us playing week in week out? Like, I'm not too sure.
Mm. Let's take some time and look at some of the headlines concerning that is the transfer of stewardship to the trustees. This one from gold.com reads, Chelsea trustees have ethical concerns over Abramovic's transfer of stewardship and are yet to agree to the request. So that clearly states that it's not as straightforward as we thought. It's not as as simple of him making a statement like we thought that statement alone have solved all the problems. So clearly now we're learning that there's more to it. There's more to be done. As we've talked about before, the legal processes, because document has to be in place to say okay now, because you can't just a statement alone isn't enough to deter the government from imposing a sanction on an individual. There has to be a
Yeah,
document in place where they must have gone through some legal processes to say, okay, these guys are responsible for the daily activities of the club. You understand? So to me, the truth is, I'm not making any big deal out of it. We're just looking at what's out there, and
just
it has to be
analyzing it.
discussed. Yeah, so
People don't
let's look at the
understand that
other one. Go
just
ahead.
like
You were
us,
saying something.
like yeah, like channels like us, like me and you, we have to discuss this stuff. Like it's a whole topic. We to get our content out. We need content. This is great
Yeah.
content for us.
Yes, and we have to talk about it. The only thing is that we just have to be truthful. That's just the thing. So, Stav, I appreciate you saying that, and possibly I can bring you on later to help us better understand what's going on. So, this one here, I think it's also about the same statement. I think is it out? What does it say? And for this one, if you want to read the whole article, you can go to gold.com. you will find it. And this one here is Marina Garcia and Peter Cech will take over the decision making on footballing matters, including transfers, contract, and the future of head coach Thomas Tuchel. So that's very important to us. At least there are people already, even without the trustees accepting the, that responsibility that Roman wants to hand over to them. I think this one here is huge for the fan base. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, Marina and Peter Cech will take over. Like, that would be much better. I would love for Peter Cech to take over. We just saw what he's done with Mendy, and look how good that turned out. And I think they do take over. Like, obviously, Marina and Cech are the transfer scouts. Like, Roman doesn't have anything to do with who to transfer. Like, he has the say. Obviously, he's the one who approves it, and obviously, you have a position to he has a position to obviously scout people and give options to Marina and Cech. But Marina and Cech are mainly the scouting, so they're going to be keeping the same job. I think they just have more of a higher decision and more of an approval now that Roman's probably not gone. And again, like, is that a better thing for us? Like, is it easier for us to get transfers because it's like they're not wasting their money? It's more Roman's money, so like they could go out a bit more, or is it less bad because they don't have the approval from Roman, so they can't go and scout more. So exactly, like I'm not sure. Like no one's really sure.
Yeah, and again, coming to staff's statement, the statement was late Sunday. Emma Hayes had a game Saturday. Buck had a cup final. That's understandable, but Roman's statement was released a few days ago. So my argument here, staff, is that it's not something. A statement alone wouldn't just take effect. There are some legal processes, and again, the truth is, before that statement was released, Roman must have spoken to these people and saying, "Are you willing to do this for me?" He's not a god. He can't just impose that responsibility on them. That I understand. So that's what I'm arguing here. I'm not saying that I'm going by what these guys are saying. This clearly shows that everything isn't in place at the moment. There are still some stuff needs to be done, maybe to complete it. And even from SI.com saying, let me share the screen again, saying trustees deny agreed deal to take over Chelsea stewardship from Roman Abramovic. And probably
Mhm.
because they're still in the process. He just made a statement
Mm.
showing, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So it's not like something you do by a snap of a finger. Hello to you, Vingush. Nice to see you here. So I do believe, yes, there's still something need to be done. The statement alone doesn't just mean you can't hand over your business. Do you understand? You understand what I'm saying, Matt? Now you cannot hand over your business or the responsibilities of your assets to someone without having a concrete agreement or a legal process before you do that. So a statement alone doesn't just mean those people that the Chelsea trustees are responsible. Are now in control of Chelsea Football Club. There must be legal processes in place so that everything will be. This we're talking about an organization here, so that's what I'm saying. Now, let me see if I'll find. Okay, their statement is not in this one, but the point is, it's not done and dusted. Yes, Roman is willing to hand over the stewardship to the trustees, but it hasn't been done. Emma Hayes being at a game and Bruce Buck being at the cup final isn't an excuse. The Roman statement was released a few days ago. And first, I'd like to say thank you, Just Viola, for finding time to join today. I know you're very busy. And big up to you. And also, thank you, staff, for finding time to join. No one trustee can accept the stewardship. An extraordinary meeting has to be. Exactly. So we're saying the same thing. What do you think about this comment here,
No one
Matt?
trusts against the stewardship, and yeah, oh no, of course, like that's a great point. Like obviously, there's gonna be massive meetings. Like they're probably still going on 24/7, even during the game, like discussing and analyzing the how this is gonna go about. And as you said, like this is gonna be an informal progress where he goes, "Oh yeah, hey mate, you're taking over the club now." This is obviously gonna go probably on weeks, and we probably won't figure out until maybe the end of March where we can have a clear understanding of what's going on. Because at the moment, it's been 3-4 days. No one has any clue. Like even regarding Roman's statement. Like it was a goddamn poem. It wasn't even in English. Like it was just so confusing how he stated it. So we're not going to figure out for a couple of weeks. Obviously, they're going to be analyzing. They're going to be going through their meetings. They're planning documents, seeing what they're going to do, and then we'll probably have a picture between in a couple of weeks or to the end of the month.
Yeah, yeah. Again, that brings me back to clarify again what I was saying. My point is that I'm not afraid there's an issue. I'm just saying it's not a straightforward issue. On a surface level, yeah, he's made the statement, but like staff also agrees now there has to be series of meetings to clarify who does what. It's that you can't just hand over a business because after all, it's Chelsea Football Club is a business by a snap of a finger or just with a statement. So it isn't doesn't just work like that. But let's look at this from another scenario, Matt. What if at the end of the day it happens that they don't want to do it? What happens?
So I have no idea. What would happen? Like, would we lose an owner? Would we have to get a new owner? Would he have to sell the club? Like, I would have no idea. Like that business side, like it's all over the place. Like you got to be kind of in the club, and only in the club to understand how the hierarchy of the business structure happens. Because if they don't accept it, then he might have to sell the club. Because then who else is going to take over? Like what Thomas Tuchel, or we get Hudson Odoi take over? Like no, he'll have to sell it to someone else.
Yeah, yeah. If you're in the chat, let us know what you think will happen. If now we know right now that's not the case. What the rumors going around just simply means the whole process has not been completed. Do you think what do you think will happen if eventually the trustees refuse to take on the responsibility of leading the club? So, Matt, that brings us to the second segment of the show, which is Kepa Arrizabalaga's future. What do you think will happen, Matt?
So obviously, I'll sum up last night's game where he came on, 2 minutes before final time, and sorry, and he came on penalty shoot. Sorry, hang on, give me a sec. Give me a sec.
No, take your time. It happens.
There we go. No, so I'm just saying, like he came on penalties, missed the penalty. First of all, he shouldn't have taken the penalty. Keepers, they're not great at penalties. We shouldn't have got to the penalty stage in the first place. We should have already won that game before the penalties even started.
Now we'll come to the stage of like the roundup for the game. Let's concentrate on Kepa's future. If we really want to talk about, or let's talk about a bit his performance between the sticks during that penalty shootout. The truth is, here's what I hated. You denied the guy the chance to that is to be between the sticks for the club in two finals that he, by merit, should be the goalkeeper. Are you listening to me now, Matt? First, the Club World Cup. He played the first game in the semifinals, and it was his brilliance, his performance in that game that ensured that we got to the final. And then Mendy came back. You dropped the guy to the bench and started Edouard Mendy. As if that wasn't enough, Kepa has always been our keeper for the Carabao Cup from start to that final. And you decided again you want to bench him. And after benching him, do you think he'll be in the right state of mind? He's a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
He will feel disrespected. He will feel like he's not important. He's only important when Mendy isn't there. And then you still had the gut to bring him on to be that is to stop penalties. What do you think will happen? The guy will not be 100% no matter who he is, even if he's the best professional in the world. You dropping him for the second time alone is enough. That is to like break him. What do you think, Matt? Over to you.
No, you're 100% right. Kepa should have started this game from the start. He's the reason why we're in the Carabao Cup final in the first place. Like, there's no one else who got to say. He was the reason why we're there. He should have started that game. He would have made those saves that Mendy saved. He would have if we went to penalties, he would have saved the penalty because he would have had a proper warm-up. He would have been in the right mindset. He would have been like, hang on, they've trusted me to start this game. I'm the reason I got here. I'm going to win us this game. Because if he comes on the bench 5 minutes and goes, hang on, I'm only here to do what I'm only here to do 10% of the job. Like, what am I only here to do this? Like, what? Why can't I not just start the game and play the full game and finish what I've started? But he got disrespected and got put on the bench, which again is so disrespectful. He was the reason why we're there. He should have started because, and if he did start,
Just
he
give
would
him
have played
the
fantastic as
two
well. Like,
finals. Like my argument is just have to have an agreement. Allow him to start in one of the two finals. That enough to still make him feel like, okay, I'm important. But he didn't do. They didn't do that. Just
that's what
benched
I'm
him
saying. Yeah.
twice, and then you expect him to come on and be a magician and stop us from losing a final. Go ahead, Matt.
No, exactly. You know, I'm gonna repeat myself with the point that I said. He got us to that final, and he was shown the disrespect of being benched, and I think that's disrespectful from Tuchel. Like he should not have done that. You know, Mendy as well. Like, we must forget Mendy did fantastic, but who wouldn't have said Kepa would have done fantastic as well? And if we were going to keep Mendy on that pitch, he should have been on the penalties. I did not want to see Kepa come on that penalty because he wouldn't have been in the right mindset. And I said when I was watching it, and I said this in the Super Cup as well, I said I wouldn't bring on a keeper just for penalties because they're not going to be ready. And that's exactly what he was. He wasn't ready. While the other Liverpool keeper, that idiot, he's whatever his name is, he did very well because he was ready. He had 90 minutes to get ready. He was in the right mindset. He made 2-3 basic saves, and he thought he was a world class keeper. So he would have been way more cocky than Kepa. Unlike Kepa, who came on that pitch 5 minutes ago to do this job. But his real job was to come on the pitch on the 0 minute mark, get us a clean sheet, and we'll win the game. And if we went to penalties, he would have saved us better there because he would have been ready.
I don't think. I think it was a very crappy move for whoever made that decision. It doesn't make sense because if I was the manager and I benched Kepa in those two finals, that rightfully he should have been the one between the sticks. Honestly, I will not bring on a Kepa Arrizabalaga. We're humans. There's a chance he will even. I mean, okay, let me go back a bit. If you look at the penalties, there are some of those penalties you'd argue that Kepa could have stopped under normal circumstances. He touched one of them, but honestly, he looked disinterested for me. He looked like who again? Let me ask this: who misses a penalty like that? He kicked it as if like, okay, what am I even doing here? So that to me
because he wasn't ready. That was the first time he kicked the ball all game. Like when you think about it, that's the only time he kicked the ball.
Okay, let's look at the comments here. I think we've gone past this one, but let's read it. Let's read it anyway. It says the trustees are mostly employed by Roman or friends. The media wants stories. They don't care about process. Yeah, that's the truth. But my argument here is that I think we're saying the same thing. There's a process to that. A handover a stewardship to the trustees. It's not something you do by a snap of a finger. Even though Roman is the boss, I don't think he can just transfer such responsibility to your employees because you own the company. No, there's more to that. Let's switch to another comment here. It says, as Matt says, it should have been over long before penalties. That's the truth. That's the truth. But let's finish talking about Kepa's future. So, Matt, what do you think about the rumors linking Kepa Arrizabalaga to Newcastle United? Do you think Chelsea should even consider selling him?
For me, Kepa's a number one starter in probably 80% of the Premier League clubs, and he can be a starter at Chelsea. I see him and I want him to fight for a spot at Chelsea for number one keeper. You know, we complain he's on 200,000 a week. When he's on 200,000 a week, if we take the wages off, if this is a scale and the wages come off, the wages are going to drop tremendously. It's not going to make a massive difference where if he comes off the books, we're going to be making signings left, right, center. Him on or off the books and performing like this is worth it. It's worth it. You know, it is high wages. It's higher than Mendy's. It's very high. It's one of the highest in the team. But when he's performing good and he's performing up to standard and he's fighting and he's playing like a number one keeper, why would we sell him just because of his high wages? Like it doesn't affect the probability of the scale when he's on those wages. And if he was to go to Newcastle, we're selling him to a rival team who we can see obviously coming up within the next couple of years being in Champions League. Why would we give him a number one keeper to them? Like I would not sell him to Newcastle whatsoever. I would keep him because he can, and he is a number one starting keeper. And I said, I want to build a team like Manchester City, and I want to have players where, say,
Here's
one's
where
injured, I want
here,
this number one
here
keeper coming on.
but here's where the problem is, Matt. The problem with us keeping him is how Tuchel has treated him. I believe me, I love Thomas Tuchel. He hasn't shown him respect, and in terms of what happened lately, that can break somebody. You know, he hasn't shown him respect. So would he want to stay? I would say no, because he wants to go to the World Cup. He wants to represent his country, and being on the bench and only for being on the bench and starting non-important games and only coming on for when it gets to the final they drop you. What does that show your country's coach? To them, they don't trust you. So would Kepa want to stay? I would say no. It's as simple as that, because who who in their right mind would want to stay at a place where you're only important when your colleague is not around? I think we've disrespected Kepa so badly. I don't think he would want to stay. And before that final, I think it was VJ on CFC Chat, right? He does watch along on
Today, yeah,
CFC
yeah, yeah.
Chat.
Vijay and
Ask him.
Kev.
I said this. We were watching, and I said something about Kepa coming on for penalties. But my problem is, will he be in the right mind to perform? I don't think so, because he's been disrespected. Because that alone is big enough to break him. Because he has been the goalkeeper from start to the final of that cup game, and then boom, you just dropped into the bench. To answer your question, Just Viola, I agree with Matt. What Matt says, but would he have made those saves? Yeah, you can say
Yes,
possibly. There's no way to
but
know except
also,
if he's between the sticks.
yeah, exactly. And we can't assume this. And obviously, if he was in goals, the timeline of the game would be different. We might even Mane wouldn't even maybe got the shot off in that position. So it's all
Yeah,
different, and you can't assume that. But I would say he would.
yeah. I agree with Matt. Says okay. We've read this one. Yeah. Okay, Matt. Over to you for this one. That double save would have happened with Kepa. Yep, possibly. And Kepa, there's a difference between the two goalkeepers. And I'm not in it by any chance now saying Kepa is a better goalkeeper. We're just looking at things here. Kepa usually punches ball out to the right or to the left. It depends on the side of the goalpost where he is. So that second man, it wouldn't have gotten that second opportunity, if you ask me, if
Yep.
Kepa was the person that imposed. He punched to the side. He doesn't punch in it to his that is towards his front like Mendy does. So what do you think about that comment there?
No, 100% agree. I was about to just mirror the conversation where he had a similar one against that at the start of the season, and I remember and I watched the video on it where he came. There was a 1-on-1, and we know he's good on 1-on-1s, but it was on the left side. And what he does is he pushes it and he forces it into a corner position because he
Mm-hmm.
knows that he won't be able to catch it. It's too hard of a shot, so he would just push it off to the side and he'll push it more towards the direction of a corner, as this is the most safest option. So I do think he would have saved it, but obviously we can't assume that position, but him playing that game, if hypothetically we say Kepa was on that pitch and he was in between the goals and it was exact same timeline that Mendy had, Kepa would have made those saves too, and he would have been more ready to be for that penalty shootout when we had it. And maybe we wouldn't even maybe gone to penalty shootouts if he was in goals. Maybe he would have got a long ball, get a bit better assist. Like it all changes, or maybe we would have lost 2-0. Maybe he would have conceded. So we can't assume that, but I do think Kepa would have had a better game in this one because I don't know where Viola just said before Kepa had pressure on him to save the penalties and he was nervous, and I agree because he's been known to save the penalties and do all this, do all that, and when he's been brought on as a sub just to save penalties, that's when you know like you're just the guy to save penalties, and obviously that's his only point of reputation in the club, and that's why he was very nervous. And I remember seeing him; his knee was going up and down, he was shaking because he knows like I'm only here to save penalties. This is my only, job to do. I have to do this well, and it's a hard job to do. It's a very, very hard job to do.
Yeah, and a lot with that, lots of pressure on him, and that also plus he's never gonna be. There's no way he'd be in the right state of mind. We kept repeating this. We've said this like 30 times now, but I don't blame him. He was disrespected. 2 finals that we got to because of him, and you dropped him to the bench, and your plan was to bring him on if he gets to penalties. Who I wouldn't be in my right mind. I will not be 100%. And this comment here, he got a hand to Konate's penalty. That shows you that he wasn't really there. He wasn't either because of the pressure or because maybe a bit of both. The pressure and also he wasn't 100%. And that's not okay. You have to, if like I'm going to repeat this again. If I was Thomas Tuchel and I decided to start Edouard Mendy in the final, he finishes that game because there's a way I calculate things. I will know that Kepa, for obvious reasons, will not be happy, and that will play in his mind for a very, very long time. That broke him, honestly, if you ask me. But that's, by the way, as Matt said, Kepa came in cold, didn't touch the ball with feet on like Keller. That's another thing. That's another factor there. And remember, Liverpool also could have gone for Alisson, but they kept the goalkeeper that's been between the sticks for them in the Carabao Cup, and that makes sense. And now they have two great goalkeepers. You've shown him you trust him. So whenever you call upon him, he comes in and be happy to do it. Dropping him to the bench, he would have felt disrespected, and that's dangerous. And that's what we did. So, but remember, I remember you said something about us trying to be like Manchester City. How can we be like Manchester City when when a player like Kepa Arrizabalaga, who by merit should have started the final of the Club World Cup, should have started the final of the Carabao Cup, and you benched him? So we cannot be like Manchester City or even Liverpool in that aspect. Be rest assured, whenever Mendy gets injured, we don't have a capable goalkeeper. That is because Mendy, Kepa will always feel disrespected.
Exactly, and I think he's in that mindset where he's like, I'm only a replacement. I'm not a rotation. Where he should be a rotation and not a replacement. And he's been disrespected like that. As you said, I would have started him this game. He deserved to start this game, not because of feelings and because we could say because he got us the blah blah blah, but he earned it. He earned it. And as I said, if we want to become a team, and you summed it up perfectly, if we want to become a team like City, we have to trust our second goalkeepers to become first keepers. And he's shown how much he is a first keeper in the team. And then to not trust him in a final where he got us to is just disgraceful. It's really, really disgraceful. And that's the one thing where I'm very, very angry with Thomas Tuchel. And, we have the right to be angry at Tuchel for the decision. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I love the man. He had a great performance. Tactically, he was fantastic. That's the only mistake he made. It was a mistake he made, and I think he knew the mistake he made.
Yeah, just you to say in hindsight, Mendy should have stayed on because he had a very good game till then. He probably would have said that's exactly one of the tweets I put out after the game, saying you dropped Kepa for two finals that he on merit should have started, and then you expect him to come on and be 100%. That's not possible. That Mendy could have done better had he stayed on, and that's the truth. Two advantages, like Viola said there, he did well. He was brilliant. Mendy was brilliant in that game, and kudos to him. Why not keep him? And again, this creates more problem. Mendy himself, I can assure you, will not be happy that he was taken off because he had a good game. And then you brought on somebody who didn't even warm up that much, haven't touched the ball that much, plus you denied him two finals that he rightfully, and if anybody calls it sentiment, it's absolute nonsense. By merit, he should start in the final of the Club World Cup. By merit, he should have started in the finals of the Carabao Cup. Just look at what Liverpool did. The goalkeeper they kept between the sticks and not say, okay, listen, you go ahead, you are number one. He was brilliant and he won it for them. What do you think about this comment, Matt?
100% agree. I'm going to repeat myself now. I said this on the live stream against Super Cup, and I said this last time when I was watching that. I don't want a keeper, as much as I love Kepa, and I love him so much, but I don't want him to come on in that position. And I said that in the Super Cup, but he proved me wrong there. He proved me wrong. He did well, but I said again, I'm not confident on him coming on. I saw him on the bench. He looked very, very nervous. He didn't look ready. And when I saw him walk on that pitch, I was like, I don't know. I think this is the right move. Mendy had a fantastic game. So his intensity was through the roof, and he should have stayed on. I agree, he should have stayed on. if we had Kepa to start, Kepa would have stayed on, and that's why I would have picked Kepa, because I said this in the preview on Kasim's channel. I said I do see us going to penalties straight away, and people were like, "How could you assume? How could you assume?" Just because the way we're playing and how shit we are in the attack, and then how shit they are in their defense, that we're just not, sorry, in their attack as well, like they didn't score as well. And I said that before the game, we're not gonna be able to score. It's gonna be so hard. We're either gonna lose or we're gonna win. But most obviously, we're going to get a draw and we're going to get a penalties. That was my assumption of the game. And I was right.
Yes,
And so I wanted Kepa to
big
start
up
for
to
that.
you, Nick Blue. Sorry, Matt. I see you. Welcome to the stream. Go ahead, Matt. You were saying something.
Yeah, no, it was some up there that I would have kept Mendy on. Mendy had the intensity. He had the vigilant that he wanted to win this game. And I saw him when Kepa took the penalty, he looked very upset, like that Tuchel wasn't treating him right. But I think it's the other way around, where he was actually given the opportunity to Mendy, to not be, I wouldn't say shamed, but Mendy's not the best at penalties, but he would have done a better job than Kepa just because of the reason of warmed up. If you're warmed up, you're obviously a 10 times better player than the person that's not warmed up. That's just the basic knowledge of football. Like, it's not hard. You can tell that to a 5-year-old and they'll understand that. So, I mean, everyone's, I think, got the same view on this, that Kepa should have started, but because Kepa didn't start, Mendy should have stayed on for penalties. Like, that's all we can say about that.
Yeah, and again, thank you for highlighting that stuff. And yes, I agree. You and Nick Blue should discuss. So you discussed the old school show that we talked about. I think Nick will be interested. Exactly, Kepa should have started. Yes, he should have started, or don't go on at all. That was a mistake. I cannot fault Tuchel's decisions. Well, that's you. This is my cousin here. He's a Barcelona fan. I know you. I don't. If you see things, I hope. I'm so pissed. I can't even utter a word right now. But I'm sure you understand. You understand my point. I'm not saying Mendy is a bad goalkeeper, but if you want to keep a team happy, whoever deserves to start deserves to start. It's as simple as that. If for instance we're talking about an outfield player, they say you don't change a winning team. You can't just drop a player to the bench because an injured player comes back from injury, and the guy that's been starting, who scored like 5 goals for you and it's brilliant, hasn't put the foot wrong. It's not like you're rotating the goalkeepers. You say to say that Kepa is tired or something like that. It's just absolute nonsense. And I'm ready to argue it with anybody that comes and says it will be sentiment to keep Kepa there, that Mendy is the number 1 goalkeeper, and that's the issue we have at Chelsea. For another example is we keep saying Chilwell is our number one left back, and then when he got injured, all we have was a backup. There was no competition. Same thing as James. So we should change our mentality and have a team that's well balanced. When A isn't playing, B comes in and plays well, or even better, and everybody is happy. Show players that their efforts, you recognize their efforts, and that it matters, that you earn your place by merit. If anybody was sentimental, then it is those that are calling for Kepa not to start. Those are the ones that are sentimental because they're just saying Mendy is our number 1. It doesn't matter how he's been performing. Mendy, he will know, made lots of errors even before he left for AFCON. That was enough for some. I think a manager like Jose Mourinho would have dropped him to the bench, or even Sir Alex. So hopefully it goes out of my system today because I'm really pissed. And Mount should have. Yeah, we'll come to those comments when we talk about the man. I cannot fault Tuchel's decision to bring in Kepa for the penalties. Kepa had been Chelsea's first choice goalie for penalties, and it almost always, common for the club. So that is it. Again, that's you, cuz not me. Let's see if we can find any comment here, or we just switch to the next one. You have anything else you want to say, Matt?
Yeah, just Val said he's sad. He's disappointed. He's not sad. He's disappointed that he has to be relied on just for penalties. Like, is he not another goalkeeper? Like, he's just this penalty goalkeeper. And that's where I think Tuchel disrespected him. And he should have started that game. I mean, I'm going to keep saying, because I'm very, very pissed at Tuchel for this one, where he should have started.
They
and he
should have.
would have been on the penalty because Stav also had a good point. He had a good stat there that Kepa's won 3 of his shootouts, and 2 of them was the start. And the one where he didn't start was the Villa game, and he got very lucky in the Villa game. He was very good, but he didn't have to kick a ball in the Villa game. This one he had to kick a ball, and that's why he wasn't ready. I mean, every time I'll play football, like, I'll go on that pitch and I'll have my first shot in the warm up, and I would, stuff it up or I'll scar it sometimes because you're not ready, you're not warmed up. Like, it's just common sense. A basic 5-year-old can say that Kepa wasn't warmed up. He wasn't on the pitch, 50 minutes prior. He came on 5 minutes ago. So, I mean, that's what I think we really have on it. I think we all have the same opinion to overall state that Kepa is should have deserved to be there, not because it's sentimental. If it was sentimental, then I would want what's his name? I would want Kennedy to start because he's Brazilian, and one of the opponents on their team is Brazilian. So just link them up because they're friends. That's not how sentimental works. He's
Yeah,
earned his spot. He's earned it. He deserved to be there, and it's shambolic what Tuchel's done. And now maybe this has probably ruined his reputation, not reputation, but his connection with Chelsea, and that's possibly why we're seeing links with Newcastle. We saw it before the game. I think it's going to progress now after this game. I really think that he is going to be leaving. There's going to be a high chance of him leaving after this game, not because he missed a penalty, because he was disrespected by Tuchel and the not the board, but just Tuchel in general.
Here's the thing. Even though it is, you could say by circumstances that we have 2 great goalkeepers, but we've treated one so badly that I don't see Kepa Arrizabalaga staying. And it's good for him because Newcastle, they have the money and they will pay for him to come to them. Unfortunately for us, we haven't treated Kepa well. Under Frank Lampard, when he had a deep informed, Lamps did not manage that very well. It affected him longer than it should. He was out of form longer than that situation lasted longer than it should. And then now Toko treats him like this. He will not stay. He will not stay. I see him leaving. And now, do you think we'll find any other world-class goalkeeper to come and be a second choice? No, that's difficult. And if you still ask me, I'd say, yeah, good scouting from Mendy. But Mendy, we were lucky. We were lucky.
Yeah, Mendy, we were very lucky. Yeah,
we were lucky to have gotten him. So now we're just going to have, clearly the moment Kepa Arrizabalaga leaves, we will have a first-choice goalkeeper and a second-choice goalkeeper, and not 2 world-class goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Except except maybe we'll do it the way we do things. We'll go find a retiring goalkeeper, probably someone that will help us up our English quota in the team, and just bring him in and say we have another good goalkeeper. It's annoying. What do you think about this comment on the screen from CFC for him?
Pep Guardiola and Zach Stefan, maybe we're going to win or we're going to lose, but if Zach doesn't play, I'm going to lose the team, and it's better to lose a game than lose the team. And that's a fantastic point by Pep. Exactly. At least he's given the opportunity. Like, it's such a bad way to put it. Like, we're like treating these players like kids. Like, we've got to give them the time on the pitch, but for the mentality, we have to. Like, someone like Zach Stefan, who's a very solid keeper, needs to have that time on the pitch. And he probably, if he was in this Carabao Cup final, he would have started for sure. No doubt about it. Because these players need to earn their position in the team, and they've earned that by playing other games, and to get in that mindset that I'm this player, I'm starting a final. Look how they're treating me. They're treating me fantastically. Yes, I'm gonna keep going, and the mentality will rise. Like, it's just so basic knowledge that anyone can understand, and that's what I'm saying. And you just point out that everyone wants a Manchester. Every Chelsea fan wants a Manchester City team, but when we start with the keeper, they're like, no. Hang on, I want Mendy and I want Bettinelli because Kepa is just on too high wages. But when you've got a player like Kepa who's playing like a number 1 keeper on 200k wages, it's disappointing. And the only way I would see him leaving, if it's for his own will, he wants to leave because he wants more game time. If he's happy at Chelsea as a second keeper and earning 200k a week or fighting for a first place keeper, then it would be fantastic because he should be. Because if he's
155.
Yeah, 155. Sorry, yeah, if 155. If he would start the Carabao Cup final, he plays the FA Cup final, and Mendy plays every other single game, that would be better. That would be much better. Like, again, we pointed out before that he should have started the Carabao Cup final, 100%. He should have started this one, 100%. And now because he didn't, his mentality is going to drop, and he's going to have disrespect on the club's name, and will give him another reason to possibly leave, because this shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. And I remember also, I don't know if it was here or Casinos where declared was like Kepa's gonna leave, and I'm like, no way, and we're gonna make a bet on it. I think I'm moving towards the declare now, because if we keep this disrespect up to Kepa, he would leave. He would leave, and they will let him go.
Sorry, you said we won't let him go. Was that what you said?
No, we may let him. If he says I want to leave, I think they'll let him go. I think because he's been here long enough that they don't really want him at the club anymore, even though how well he's performing. And again, they would let him go if he probably asked to leave, and he would only leave if he keeps getting this disrespect up. And I hope this changes, because I don't want to see him leaving.
Do you want the club to let him go, Matt? What do you think will be the best option? Let him go?
If we keep disrespecting him like this and not playing in the final where he deserved us for his career, my heart would say I would love him to go, because I love the guy, I love the player, I want the best for his career. And if we keep disrespecting like this to him, I would want him to go. But my head's saying I want him to stay because he's a fantastic keeper. He can help the team so much. But if he's not getting the opportunity to play like every other keeper is in the league, in the world, then I think it's just he's every right to leave.
I'm super pissed right now. I could go on and saying this, because this is really so wrong on so many levels. Matt, let's talk about let's bring it to the Chelsea versus Liverpool, the finals. To you, overall, what do you think about that game, Matt?
I mean, overall, that game we had some. Again, you know what? It's the same thing. It's our attack. They're shit. Havertz, I'll take Havertz out because Havertz was fantastic. I mean, that man is here. He's here. That's the only positive we can take out from that game. But we've got Mount, who was performing horribly. Pulisic, who wasn't doing that well. Werner was being Werner. He's useless again. And Lukaku. And then we'll come out and say Mount had a bad game, and people like me get absolutely attacked. Like, Mount had a shit game. Wake up. And then when we say that, look at Pulisic, look at this, look at that. Let's stop comparing and let's look at Mount. Mount had a bad game. And I said this on the terrace, and I got absolutely destroyed this morning, where I said Mount should be on that bucket list, where if he keeps performing like this, we could send him on loan or on sale. I'm not saying to sell him. I don't want to sell Mount. But I'm saying if he keeps this up and he keeps this game style and he keeps performing like this, he should be on that list that he can be also removed from the club, like Werner, Pulisic, Ziyech, everyone else. Because right now he thinks he's invincible, and the fans thinks he's invincible. He's not. He should be another player and on that bucket list. And if he's not performing well, he should be out of this club. But I don't want him to leave. And I think he's performing decently this game. He shouldn't have started. He had an injury. He shouldn't have started. But we must forget he done bad. He's done bad, and it was a shame. But again, I always say this about Mount. I think he's a great player. He has great potential. We'll move on from that. Again, Lukaku. I'm going to sit and say it. I think Lukaku, he was shit, but he wasn't like that bad. Like, that should have been a goal, and that was a great shot he had, and that was a goal. That wasn't offside. Like, again, a 12-year-old can see in that, guys. Hang on, that lines aren't matching up. There's no way that's offside. So Lukaku had a decent game. I'll give him like a 5 instead of like a 2 like we normally do. So I think he did decent. Again, and I said this, I would want him to start in this game because I think this game was decent for him, and he did well when he came on. So, there's always stuff to hate about Lukaku, but I think this game there's not too much to focus on. I don't think is the focus point for this game. But again, Coachila, again, it's just our attack. Our attack is shocking.
It
They are
is really,
absolutely shocking. When Ziyech and
yeah.
Havertz were shocking.
It is again. The fact is, I think Tuchel set us up to win that game. Unfortunately for us, the magician wasn't available for selection, and I think it showed yesterday how much we missed him. We created a few chances, and we created a lot of chances actually. But with Ziyech on the pitch, I think we'll have good. Then we'll have a good shooter. We'll have somebody who can shoot from the outside of the 18, that is at the slightest space he gets, you can be rest assured he will have a go at the post. We didn't have him on the pitch. I think I was really concerned when I saw the lineup and saw while Ziyech isn't there. And
Yep.
again, we missed those. How possible is that? And I hate calling players' name, but seriously, Mount should put at least one of those chances away. Because had it been Lukaku now, had it been Timo Werner, had it been Kai Havertz, that would be the talk of the whole place. How can he miss those two chances? Should I say maybe he's still mentally tired? No, because he took a shot. And at least, even for the one that I hit the goalpost, he could have dribbled the goalkeeper if he wanted, or take more, even a little carve on the ball will make sure it goes into the net. So, but I'm not here. I just don't know what we're going to do. I think some more issues still haunts us. Some more issue of not putting away chances, of creating
Yep.
chances, of looking like we're going to beat opponents, and then at the end, not being able to do anything. Because the truth is, we played well overall. It's just
Yeah,
putting
we did
away the
very well.
chances. And then you start seeing it at the point as I started saying to myself, this is starting to look like one of those games where we will do everything, but at the end of the day, not win this game. And it happened. You know, do you think we have to sign some players that, for the attacking area to change things? Because it's looking like it's a curse. It's looking like this never gonna change.
I don't know what to do now. Like, we need a goal scorer. We still don't have a goal scorer. Like, Havertz is getting there. It's great to see. Ziyech is getting
Here's my
there,
point,
but we need a
man. The
third.
goal scoring aspect the responsibility shouldn't be down to one player. That we're a team. We need everybody in the team who gets the
Yeah,
chance to
but we
put it
can't buy
away.
6 players to goal score. We need just one person who can help us support. Like, we've got the support from Ziyech and Havertz now. We just need someone to bury those chances, and Lukaku can't do that. That's what I'm saying. We just need one more player.
Oh my goodness. This comment right here, I think I like it. We blame defenders for conceding goals and costing us games, but
I don't think we blame
attackers
defenders.
missing sitas should also take blame as well. Mount is the blame for that final loss. I think I've seen a lot online, and I'm not one to like start blaming an individual. As Mount
I don't
can
think we blame
score,
defenders. So go on, you on.
no, I'm not even gonna blame defenders. I know we did not blame here. I think he's just talking about the Chelsea fans in general. They're quick to blame defenders for conceding goals and making mistakes, but they really, I think especially when it's Mount. I think there's a section of the fans who will always praise him for his energy. Nobody talks about how we could have won that game by 2 goals, at least 2 goals, had Mount put away the chances he had. Pulisic also he looked good on the from the start, but I think he could have done better if you ask me. It's one of those games that when you look at it, you'll be going, "What really happened here?" But overall, I'd still come back to blaming Tuchel for his decision in terms of the goalkeeping department, but we will get there. For him, I think many have blamed Mount. Yeah, many are blaming him in this case. I think I saw a tweet
Because it was
that's gone at
shit.
about 5,000 likes and about something half of that number in retweets saying Mount is the reason why we lost that game. And I think I've seen comments here from Nick Blue saying no, it was VAR and Mount for after staff says the ref. Yeah, so let's see if you have any other comment here you have interest on, or if you have any news to update us. Let's update the
I mean,
fans, and so we can
no,
call
I'll
it a
just
day.
say it. I'll just add that Mount was like shit. Like, you can't deny Mount was shit today. Like, yes,
Mm.
he came back for injury. There was some, factors blaming that, but you can't deny that he was shit. And people were just going off and saying, "This kid's a fantastic. This, let's look at Pulisic. Let's look at that." Stop moving the goalpost. Stop changing it. Everyone was shit. We're blaming Pulisic. We're blaming Mount. We're blaming Werner. And Lukaku, I think, wasn't to blame today. I think it was the only one not in our attack, and Havertz not to blame today. But again, we were rigged. This should have been not handball. Sorry, it was on. Lukaku was onside, and Keita should have got sent off. If that happened, we would have won that game. Van Dijk was offside for that one, so you can't use that one as an excuse there. So again, we were robbed on another final. But we're not blaming the refs today. We're blaming
No, if we
more
had
of our
scored the
keeper.
goal, put away the chances we had, that shouldn't have happened.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. We should be focused on the refs today and VAR because that was a shocking mistake that they made. Shocking mistake. And if they made the right mistakes, we would have won that game more. But I think our main focus is our players. Like the game's gone. Who cares? Those okay weren't over. We still should have scored. We still should have scored, and we still should have made the right decision about our keeper.
Yeah, this comment on the screen. Do you think Lukaku was offside? If you are
Now
if you're in the chat, let us know whether Lukaku was on or offside. To me, I think it was offside because
get the picture up. Get
sim-
the picture up.
what's sorry,
Do you want to get the
picture for
picture
the
up of
lineup for the
no
offside.
of Lukaku? Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. But quickly, you can go ahead and talk about it. Let me look and see if I can find the picture. If you're in the chat again, let us know if you think Lukaku was on or offside. What's your thoughts on that decision?
But go on, read that comment.
Or if you find one, Matt, can you just send it to me
Yeah, no, I
via
was just
Twitter so I
yeah, I'll
can
find it
share?
now. It's fine now. But no, I like. Hang on, wait. We'll get the picture and then we'll have a talking about those really good chances were missed by Pulisic and Mount. Yeah, Mount and Pulisic again. But Pulisic, like we know this from Pulisic, like we know he's shit half the time. That's why he's on that bucket list. That if he keeps performing like this in August, he's gonna be gone. But our main reason is on Mount because Mount doesn't perform like this. He's normally much better than this. That's what we've said. Usually he's a fantastic player, but today he was shit. And I think he should be on that bucket list. That if he keeps performing like this, he should be on. Hang on, Mount. You keep performing like this, you can be removed from the club as well. You're not invincible. No one's invincible at Chelsea, but Mount assumes, and the fans assume Mount is invincible.
Mm. Yeah, how about, can you look at this statement on the screen while I look for that picture?
I just sent you a picture. But yeah, I
Oh, you did
understand that Mount
already?
was coming back from injury. How's that? Yeah, not to score from the clear. Yeah, I mean, his injury or not, it doesn't matter. He still should have finished that chance. Like we could say maybe some runs weren't there, blah blah blah. But that finish, it doesn't matter you're injured or not. If you have a broken arm, broken leg, you're brain damage, you can still finish that shot. That shot was an easy shot.
Mm. Ziyech would have opened them up. Yeah, he would have. That was why we all missed him. I think why is this taking time to load?
Did
I
you not
haven't
get on
seen the
Twitter?
image. Sorry?
Did you not get on Twitter?
Yeah, I think I've seen a picture here, but
Did you just
my
want me to
Twitter, I don't know
share it?
why it's just not loading quick. Okay, I think I've
Did you
seen
want
it. Okay, let me
you
get
get
it.
it?
Yeah, let me get it and we can look at it. It's still opening. Yeah, I think Ziyech would have made a whole lot of difference. That's just the truth. But unfortunately for us, I think they say he had an injury. So if you're in the chat, let us know whether you think Lukaku was on or offside. This is maybe I was looking at it from another angle there. I think this is really tight, and I'd say, yeah, because
I
look
would
at
love to see from the other side. To be fair with you, I would love to see from the other side, but I thought arms were handball. Like we just saw the thing with fucking Rodri. Like what's happening, man? Like every week it changes. That's what I'm saying. Every week it changes. But yeah, if we're talking about foot, he's not offside. It's his hand, but hands aren't used in football. Like I thought that part of the handball. Like we don't use that in football. So why is that classified as offside?
Yes, declared. You can absolutely blame Matt. It
Blame
was
me
his
for
fault that
what?
we lost.
Nah, because declared. I've seen declared. If Kepa started, we would have won that game. We would have won that game if Kepa started. And when Lukaku came on, he wasn't even that bad. And then Reece
Lukaku
James
did
came on, and he
better.
wasn't that
The
bad.
guy said that he did better. He troubled he brought something different. That's the truth. He troubled the
I
Liverpool
said it in my
defenders.
post. Yeah.
Yeah, he troubled them. He bullied them a bit better than the guys that were on. The guys that were on had more chances to score, and they didn't put it away. And that begs the question whether Lukaku could have scored if he had that many chances like Mount had. Although he wouldn't
Yeah,
get those
exactly. Yeah,
chances because he doesn't run like
yeah,
them.
he
We
wasn't in that
must
position. Yeah,
exactly. We must talk about that too. Mason Mount didn't post anything on Instagram. Other players have.
and
He
that's
knows
why I love
why.
Mount.
He's not dumb. He's
That's
not
why I love
dumb, and
Mount
so he
because yeah,
knows.
he knows, and that's why I'm saying I don't want Mount out of this club. I'm not saying I want Mount to leave. I love Mount. I think he's a fantastic guy, and his mentality is there. And I agree, he would be a future captain at Chelsea. But the only thing I'm saying is that people think he's invincible, And I'm saying if he keeps performing like this, he should be on that bucket list that he can be shipped off in August. I'm not saying I want to send him off, but he thinks he's invincible, and people think he's invincible, but he's not. He can be shipped off if
Yeah.
he wants to.
Yeah, Mikel always making up, teaching us new words. We got VA ad, and then Lukaku's goes there. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I appreciate everybody in the chat. We'll soon round off about a minute or two. Let's just try and go through the comments quickly. And thank you guys for finding time to join us also. Poor Lo. Okay, I got you, Stab. Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Chelsea is to blame. That includes Lukaku. No, not on that day. I think he did well. He did better than the guys we had on the pitch before he came on. I'm not his biggest fan. I must let you know that. But we have to speak the truth. He says Mount's performance has been poor this season. Yet he's got GA, but the Mount last season with less GA was better. That's the truth. I think before. I think he's still he hasn't recovered. At the time, I thought it was just because he was mentally tired, but I think it's gone beyond that. I think it's something else. Maybe as he matures, those things will fix. And if you have any comment here you want to talk about, you let me know. You're the guest today.
Saying there's no way Kepa would have emulated what Mendy did. He would have copped a goal. But I'm saying that no, he wouldn't. And we've already established this, Declare. If you go back about 20 minutes, that we said that I can see Kepa saving that because Coachila did a great point where when Mane would have shot it, he would have pushed it to the right already, not giving the chance of Mane to already come and save it. But also, we can't assume that he would have had that shot also. I mean, as I said, I'm going to repeat myself. People already heard what I said, but we can assume Kepa might have conceded 2 goals. But also, Kepa might have gotten 3 assists if he was on that pitch, but we don't know. But if he was going to come on for penalties, he should have started that game. But I was on the favour that Mendy's on that pitch. Mendy had high intensity. He was doing a great game. He should have played. He should have played that penalties. And I said this in the Super Cup final as well against Villarreal. And I said it on stream where I said, I don't want Kepa coming on because I don't think he's ready. And I said this last night as well where he doesn't look ready. He was there shaking his foot like this, like that. And I'm like, he's nervous. He doesn't want to come on and play. He doesn't want to be known as the penalty keeper. He's a first starting keeper. He deserved to be starting on that pitch. And that's why he was upset. And that's why he's disrespected. And that's why he's going to leave to Newcastle in August if he keeps being disrespected like that.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. And I think the offside thing, I'm just looking at it again. I don't understand why that's an offside decision. But that's, by the way, I think we have to talk about every player and how they performed. And yeah, Mount missed some sitters. Had they scored those goals, we wouldn't even be talking about this offside decision at all. But that's, by the way, and I think okay, Declare wants to fight here. He said, "What, Matt? Are you all right? How the hell are you?"
I already kind of established that one.
To get rid of Mount, but says staunch for Kepa and Ziyech for so long.
I mean, look at Ziyech. Look how good he is now, man. Like, Ziyech is our starting attacker. Like,
yeah,
he's still on that bucket
here's
list.
The thing, Matt. The fact is, you saying how good Ziyech is now is more reason why we should be patient with Mount. I think.
I'm not saying we should.
Over time, I think he will learn to be. One of the things I don't like about his game is he can be selfish at times. And also, he's also not composed on the ball in terms of finishing. Those things he tries, sometimes they do come off as brilliant whenever he gets them right. But if you're more composed in front of in the final third, I think you score more goals than always going for power and trying to shoot as quickly as possible. I think he will get better eventually. Probably Mike Dean or Anthony Taylor on VAR, possibly. You never know. Send Mount to Lampard, bring Gallagher back. I'd do that, honestly, because I think Gallagher is a more, you could say, should I say, a more composed player in terms of it. You've seen the kind of goals he scored, and the goals he scored are not flukes. And he's always in the right position, and he creates chances too. And he scored goals against big teams as Manchester City. CSC Fahim says, hell no, he wasn't offside. And also, yeah, I know what you mean. Is this camera angle? They need to implement like bird's eye VAR.
Because it's on like a weird angle. It's like, so it's showing that more. It's showing that more of Lukaku than Van Dijk. That's why I said I want to come on the other side to see where Van Dijk is standing. That's what I'm saying. It's all rigged. It's all rubbish.
Yeah, here's the issue I have with this VAR of the thing. The fact remains, if you're making decisions, if you want to use a machine, let the machine complete the decision making process. The truth remains, as long as that machine needs a human being to like go click, draw a line, measure it, they're still prone to mistakes. There's a chance, there's a minute difference in the decisions they've given that could have made that is swayed the decision to the other angle, but because they're humans, they can't see it. So if you want to use VAR, let it complete. And I think this actually to me isn't rocket science in terms of finding who's ahead of who. I think they can let the machine finish the decision making, just a lot more programming, and it's done. And I think they have the money to do so. Why would we need a human being to start drawing lines? I think they start showing that on camera, but before they used to show it on camera on how they manually draw the lines. The machine should be able to complete the decision making and find out who's ahead of who. Because as long as it's a human being that draws that lines, it is prone they will
But
make mistakes. Yeah.
it's not VAR that's the problem. It's the people who are in the VAR that's the problem. That's the problem with VAR.
Here's yeah, I think you made it. Here's let's just go quickly through. I know Matt, you're gonna leave in a bit. Here's the thing, Declan. The truth remains, we're not arguing. We're no longer arguing whether Kepa should have started. And even the pregame show we talked about, some staff said if Toko starts him, then fine. He sees something in him that he feels like he would do better. My issue was that after denying Kepa Arrizabalaga 2 finals that he on merit should have started, you kept him on the bench and you think he'd still be 100% to start and perform? Well, no, I don't think so. The moment you dropped him in that final, you broke him. He will not be happy. And the client, I know if you were Kepa, you will not be happy either. So it doesn't make sense to bring him on. And also bring off Mendy, who also did well in that game. So that's my argument. We're not talking about whether he should have or shouldn't have started. Do you have any statement, any comment here you want to look at?
I want to quickly add, like, it's a bit off topic to everything, but like, who the hell does hang on, I want to say, like, who the hell does Harvey Elliott think he is? Like, trying to push Kai Havertz. Like, Kai Havertz absolutely bodied Trent Alexander-Arnold last night. He destroyed him, put him on the floor, sat him down, put him to sleep, and Harvey Elliott thinks he can push him while Havertz was laughing because this man went and jumped right in and Havertz moved like a centimeter away. So big up to Havertz there, putting his body in front of the line and Rudiger coming in and pushing Harvey Elliott out of the way with one finger and the man moved 20, 30 meters. So, I mean, Chelsea we got a good strong team, and Liverpool think they can come and try and take advantage of it with small Harvey Elliott. So that was just a
Yeah,
funny video
I
I
think you
saw.
make a great point. And Kai Havertz, I think in terms of the physical aspect of the game, I think he's changed. He's very physical now. That's not an issue. He doesn't hit the deck too quickly like he did when he arrived newly. I think he's improving by the day, and I love to see that. Kepa Smith has to be the worst penalty in history, but I don't blame Kepa
What?
for our loss. Game should have never gone to penalties. That's a great comment. It should have never gone to penalties, and Kepa should have never been brought on to stand between the sticks after being disrespected and treated the way he was treated. Mendy
But
did
do we
well
not
during
forget
the
Bruno
90
Fernandes
minutes and
penalty?
should have stayed on. And had they stayed on, I think he would have done better in terms of serving the penalties. If you ask me, I'd say Kepa kicked that penalty like he didn't even want to take it in the first place. He didn't even want to be there in the first place. It was so awful. I mean, you can look at it and draw conclusions and saying, you know what, he intentionally putted it out of the stadium, if you ask me. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the worst penalty ever. Do you remember Bruno Fernandes, like, last season, did the exact same thing? But again, we were just speaking about the factors Coachila, but we were saying that was his first kick of the game. He wasn't ready, and then all the other, like, everything we've stated in the last hour kind of relapsed to this. Then, that miss, that's why I wasn't really shocked from that miss because I understood it. When you just come on that pitch 5 minutes ago, you haven't had a kick of the ball, you haven't been warmed up, and all the other factors that happened before the game and his head mentality, blah blah blah. I'm not surprised that he missed. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, look at the comments, see if you want to talk about anyone. If not, let me see if I can find anyone here. Our defeat is on VAR, and we are VAR's mercy because we're wasteful. Yeah, we had to wait for the VAR had to. No. There's no need blaming VAR because we were very wasteful. Had we scored all the chances, put away the chances we had, we wouldn't even be talking about the offside decision and all that. Yeah, go ahead, Matt. And hi to you
Um,
also, Chris John, chosen boy. How are you? I hope you're fine. Go ahead.
yeah, what was is any other last comments? Yeah, Javier didn't get a yellow. It's another good point. He didn't get a yellow there. But yeah, again on VAR and the onside, like that's a factor that I'm surprised Chelsea fans didn't target towards Norman with the first one to blame the ref in that point. I'm still on the ref. Like if the ref made the decisions right, we would have won the game. But again, we should have still finished our chances. And I think we've changed the mentality that now it was a good game. We did well, but let's focus on our attack. Like we need to score these chances. Doesn't matter. Let's not make it easy for us and get red cards and get, this and that from VAR. Let's just score more chances. Let's score more chances. Even though, as I said, I'm blaming the ref for the game, we still should have scored more chances. We still should have scored more
Yeah,
chances.
that is simply the truth. And any final thoughts, Matt, so we can round off the show.
Nah, big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure to go check out CFC Chat on YouTube, at Zero Genius on Twitter as well if you want more discussions. And I'll probably be on here again soon.
Yes, thank you guys. I'd like to say a big thank you to Declare, CFC for him, my brother. Also, CFC for him also has a channel. I think if you haven't, please go check out his channel. I think you will like his content. Declare, my brother, Mikhail, my brother and friend. I appreciate you all. Just Viola, the queen of Chelsea perspective. Always good to see you find time and be here. And Stav, I appreciate you so much. Great input, educating us, letting us know when we're saying something that's not fact. He likes to correct us right away. Nick Blue, who's become a constant on this channel. And Nick, I can't wait for you to talk with staff so you can start the old school show on Chelsea Perspective. I'd like to be part of it. And everybody else who's finding time, my cousin Caleb, I appreciate you finding time to join. I know you should probably be at school, but you had great inputs there. And if I missed your name, please pardon me. I'm only a human. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for another Blue Money show. And please don't forget to go check out CFC Chats. They do watch alongs also. And they have great, always bringing on great, some of the biggest names in the Chelsea community in terms of guests. You should go check it out yourself. Please do that for me. I'd appreciate it. They've become great friends with Chelsea Perspective, always supporting me. And that's why I always support them whenever I get a chance. And with that, we call it a day. Hope to see you guys for another Blue Morning tomorrow. If I don't find a guest, then it will be I and Staff. Staff was billed for Thursday this week, but maybe you see him tomorrow if I don't find a guest. See you guys next time, and God bless you all. Bye.